Warri never slept. Oil money kept the city buzzing, a constant hum of generators, the red glow of clubs open till dawn, and the hushed whispers of politicians behind tinted glass. In Warri, wealth moved fast, but it rarely stayed put. In the heart of this relentless city lived Tamuno, a young woman raised by a stepmother who draped herself in church clothes by day, only to traffic in lies and deceit by night. Tamuno's own mother had passed away years ago, but just before she died, she did something dangerous, something desperate. She sealed a covenant with the river, not in the open, not with the old ceremonies, but quietly, secretly, beneath a bridge where oil pipes crisscrossed over the dark water. With a cut on her palm and blood offered to the current, she had prayed, "Protect my child. If she must enter this wicked world, let her destiny be guarded," and the river, ancient and powerful, accepted her plea. Tamuno grew up in poverty, but a strange grace always seemed to follow her. She never had to beg, yet food always found its way to her. She never schemed for opportunities, yet doors opened for her as if by magic. Men with money, the kind that usually expected something in return, noticed her beauty and her quiet strength, but something always intervened, a force they couldn't see, stopping them from ever touching her wrongly. Her stepmother, Madame Rose, noticed this strange protection too, and it frustrated her. Madame Rose was deeply entangled in the city's dark underbelly, shady politics, stolen crude oil, and prostitution rings she cleverly disguised as entertainment agencies. She survived by selling young women to powerful politicians and ruthless thieves. And she desperately wanted Tamuno to be part of that world, to be another asset she could control and profit from. "This city rewards the smart Tamuno," she would say, her voice smooth as oil, not the pure. But when Tamuno refused, when she held onto her integrity, Madame Rose didn't argue. She just smiled a cold, calculating smile and started to make her own plans. Her scheme was simple and cruel. She introduced Tamuno to a powerful oil contractor, a man who was not only rich and married but also notoriously dangerous. The plan was to compromise the girl, to break her spirit and tie her destiny to a chain of shame and obligation. But on the very night the trap was set, Tamuno felt a strange, inexplicable pull, an urge she couldn't ignore. It led her away from her stepmother's house and down to the river, to the exact spot under the old bridge where her mother had made her desperate plea years before. As she stood there, the water before her began to tremble. A rainbow shimmer of oil floated on the surface, a slick film covering the city's sins. But beneath it, the river was alive, ancient, and aware. A voice seemed to rise from the depths, not with anger, but with a firm, unshakable authority. "This city is built on stolen wealth," it rumbled, echoing in the cavernous space under the bridge. "But you were not." A wave of understanding washed over Tamuno, and she fell to her knees, overcome. In that moment, the covenant, the sacred promise made in blood and love, fully activated. The very next morning, chaos erupted across the city. The oil contractor, the man meant to be Tamuno's downfall, was abruptly arrested, a pawn in a game of political betrayal. Madame Rose's trafficking ring was suddenly exposed, brought down from the inside by one of the very girls she had exploited. Thieves turned on each other, alliances crumbled, and fortunes built on corruption vanished overnight as if they had never existed. In a panic, Madame Rose ran everywhere for help. She consulted pastors, sought out prophets, and even visited native doctors, but nothing worked. No one could help her. She didn't understand that she wasn't fighting a business rival or a political enemy. She was fighting something far older and more powerful than corruption itself. As the dust settled, Tamuno's destiny began to rise from the ashes of her stepmother's failed schemes. She met and married a good man, a logistics entrepreneur who built his business on integrity, a man who consistently refused lucrative contracts tied to oil theft. Together, they built a new kind of wealth in a dirty city, clean, honest, and enduring. Their name became a symbol of respect in places where fear had once ruled. Madame Rose did not die. In a final, fitting twist of fate, She lived a long life, long enough to watch Tamuno become a powerful and respected figure in her own right, long enough to see her stepdaughter sit in a position of influence where the same politicians and power brokers who once controlled the city now came to beg for an audience for a moment of her time. And the elders of the city, the ones who had seen it all, would look at Tamuno's success and nod knowingly. Not all oil wealth is a blessing, they'd say. Some money eats its owners. They also offered a warning to the young and ambitious. In a city built on deceit, a guarded destiny will always stand out, and even today, if you go down to that old bridge when the light is just right, you can see the shimmer of oil on the water as surface as the current flows steadily beneath. And if you listen closely, you might hear the old men of Warri whisper a timeless truth. There is still a covenant beneath the city.